Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch the recording of our five-part series. This is part four of a five-part series. If you did not know, this is a part of a series. Then you will be well. If you just go to the website, you can see the other parts because they should all be posted there. The title of the series is Building Within Project 2025. It's here. It's happening. So what are we going to do? This particular part four, is about building our own grassroots political machine, a grassroots political machine that, of course, we develop, we lead, and we operate, melanated grassroots descendants, Black people. Because if we don't have political power, then our solution to make ourselves, our communities, our children, our loved ones, our lives better will be short-sighted and not live and last very long. If we don't have political power on a local level, then other people can simply destroy what we build, what we organize, what we create, as they have typically done. So I want to start off this presentation of this particular series, this part of the series in making sure that we're on the same page as relates to our reality in 2026 moving forward. The slide says 2025 because that's when we actually had the series. I'm just late in recording them. So Professor James Small and Brother Charles Barron is going to give an excellent analysis of where we are as a people, as a community in this country. And this is the premise from which we operate. We see this, Black Gold Nation, Growth for Care Alliance, we see this as where we are currently now. And this is where we're moving from toward building something bigger and better.
We got to understand colonialism. We live in Black communities in America are domestic colonies of a colonial capitalist system. And here's where they get you. They get you focusing on racism. And we have to, but racism is the ideology of capitalism. It is not the system. The system is capitalism. And then you have a socialist system, and communism is the utopian system that doesn't exist. You have communist parties and countries, but you don't have a communist government. So when we look at every Black community, what is a domestic colony? A colony is when a foreign nation takes over a sovereign state and brings in its military and extracts from its natural resources from that land and the labor, slave labor. That's what colonialism is. So domestic colonialism means that we, in Black communities across this country, we don't have anything like Tulsa or Rosewood in the 21st century. There's no Black community where we're in control of the land, the resources, the means of production, all of the social, cultural institutions like they had in Rosewood in the 1920s. So now we have none of that. We are over $1 trillion consumer market, and yet we have no community in the country that looks anything like Rosewood or Tulsa of the 1920s. And here we are in 2023. So
let me put a slick definition on it, Charles, Brother Barron. You know, somebody asked Malcolm X, said, Brother Minister Malcolm X, what do you mean by Black nationalism? And to just capitalize what you said, he said, you must control the land, labor, and resources, the economic, politics, and culture where you live. We control none of that where we live. And that just capsulizes it. And when we think of it, here we are expected to spend $2 trillion this year in consumer dollars. We control no land, we control no labor, we control no resources. We do not control the economics, the politics, or the culture where we live. All right, and then we, by definition, we can't even call where we live communities, because communities presuppose that you control those things.
Absolutely.
That's right.
We are neighborhoods in capitalist and colonial communities.
So that is our premise from where we are as a people in 2026 moving forward. And please understand that the colony, our community slash neighborhoods where we live, is only going to get worse because Project 2025 is designed to make them worse. If you did not know, they are full steam ahead with what they talked about doing last year, and they are actually ahead of schedule. They are continuing to dismantle the economy on purpose. They have planned to, they are continuing to dismantle the social safety net, food stamps, AFDC, WIC, Medicaid, unemployment insurance, anything that people need to make their lives easier and or better, hell, and or worth living. They are dismantling and taking that away. They are dismantling the education system or the indoctrination system. They are dismantling federal protections, both as citizens in general and consumers as it relates to protecting us from ingesting things that are bad for us. They are going back to a states' rights model, which has been, historically speaking, has been bad for us, black people, or even minority people. And that is why those federal protections were so important because the states were racist. The states had racist leadership, and the federal government came in, provided oversight, and ensured that those states could no longer be racist, at least not blatantly racist. And they are going back to a states' right model, which historically, again, has been bad for us. They are going to do every single thing they can to continue fleecing the poor, taking money from the poor, giving it to the rich. As a matter of fact, the whole motivation of Project 2025 is to give billionaires tax cuts for money that they don't need. And in order to do that, they have to cut out all of the money currently going to numbers 1 through 5. So they are cutting programs out that people need to make their lives easier, better, their lives worth living, and giving that to people who don't need the money at all. It's only been 11 months. It says 10, but this was done a few months ago. 11, 12 months, maybe first year. And again, they're ahead of schedule. Trump still has 3 years left with this second term, and only God knows what's going to come after that. So we have to keep in mind that they are working to create chaos on purpose. That's not necessarily a bad thing because, as General Sun Tzu stated, in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. But of course, that opportunity will be non existent if we're not ready to take advantage of it. There are things we can do, there are things we can benefit from, there are things we can build based on what they are doing. But of course, in order to make those things happen, we have to be ready, willing, and able. So the progressive buildup as to how we want to build our own political machine this year, 2026, is going to be a pivotal year. We only have, as we see it, as our national leadership has laid it out, we'll only have 5 to 7 years to put something in place that's on automatic pilot, that's going to continue to build power for us. And of course, that has to be local political power. So over the next 1 to 4 months, which is January now to April, over the next 1 to 4 months, we want to complete a local grassroots political SWOT analysis. I'll talk about the SWOT analysis on the next slide. We want to make sure that we understand where our political resources lie. Again, part of the SWOT analysis. We want to develop weekly outreach grassroots political teams, which means teams of people, 3 teams of at least 5 people within the next 4 months that are willing, 3 teams of 5 people that are willing to go out, knock on doors in the community and talk to people, talk to business owners, meet the community, understand where they are, what they're open to doing, what they might need, and then move forward. That's going to be very, very, very important as relates to what our overall political strategy and goals are. And we want to create a community economic trust, but economic slash political trust. Let the community know that if you agree to support us in what we're doing, anything that we create positively, any profits, be they economic, spiritual, cultural, or whatever, any profits that comes out of what we create because you are part of what we're doing, you're going to benefit from. That's in the first 4 months of this year. Months 5 through 11, we want to have individual and group outreach training so that we're not just going out with the specific weekly grassroots teams, but we also have more organized efforts to go out in larger groups. We want to have community political education and training because so many of our people don't understand how this political system works. They don't understand basic civics. And in order for us to win in this war that we were born into, we have to better understand it and how to play it. And of course, maneuvering politically, especially on the grassroots level, is a huge part of that. We want to grow our weekly outreach grassroots political teams from 3 teams of 5 to 6 teams of 10. And that's over the next 5 to 11 months. The next 12 plus months moving forward, our long-term goals are having neighborhood outreach activities to continue to connect with, build, learn from, and mobilize and organize our community spaces. We want to grow our weekly outreach grassroots teams from 6 of 10 to 10 of 15. So we want to have 10 teams of at least 15 people going out at least 3 weekends of every month. We want to identify candidates who can run for office. We want to recruit them. We want to help them understand where we're coming from, what it means to be a part of our political party, and we want to train and prepare them to run for office. If we do not have local political power, we are going to lose because our solution, whatever that solution is, will be incomplete. This series focuses on 5 things: agriculture, because we got to eat; security, because we got to protect it; local economics, because we got to fund it; politics, because we have to be able to put power, political power behind it; and our youth, because if we're not preparing to pass the baton to somebody, we're wasting time. So that is a progressive buildup to what we want to accomplish this year in 2026. The steps to get there is the local, I apologize, that should be local political SWOT analysis. To accomplish those goals, we have to develop a local political SWOT analysis. SWOT is simply an acronym that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So we need to know, where are we strong on a local political level? Where are we weak on a local political level? What are the opportunities on that local political level? And of course, what are the threats? The strengths. Who do we have in the community that has local political community organization expertise? Who's willing to train of those persons who have that expertise? Who's willing to train the community on that expertise? And of course, who's willing and open to be trained? So we got to know these aren't the only strengths, but these are the core strengths we're looking for as it relates to local political mobilization and organization. Uh, who has expertise? Who's willing to train, and who's open to being trained? Our weaknesses. We have to mobilize our people, bring our people together in one space to give them a message, a mission, a purpose, and steps to move forward. We're not mobilized in any serious way. We might come together for a party or a good time, but mobilization that is connected to a larger vision, we don't have. That's a weakness of ours. And that doesn't mean that we don't have people who mobilize for serious things. We do, but overall, as a community, that's a weakness. We're not organized. We are very reactionary because we're not organized enough to take action so that we don't have to react. Bringing our people together, mobilizing, giving us something purposeful to do to move ourselves forward, the organization part. We haven't been good at those things traditionally. We're not good at that right now. Although we have people who do that for other groups or for their employers, but as a community, as a collective, we don't do that. That's a weakness. And our infrastructure, we don't have our own systems. We don't have our own institutions. We don't have our own political leadership machine that we've built to train our people to maneuver the way that we need them to maneuver. Those are weaknesses that we have that we want to get more detail on moving forward. The opportunities. Having our own political system is a tremendous opportunity because it will allow us to in an organized, methodical, intelligent, systematic manner, go after local resources. All of this, everything that we're doing is a fight to get local resources in our local spaces to make the lives of the people who live in that space bigger, better, and stronger. And of course, those opportunities, one of those opportunities would be having businesses coming into the community, and of course, developing our own businesses, which also equates to jobs. Some of the threats that we're going to have to deal with as it relates to building our own local political machine. The mindset of many of our brothers and sisters, they are not, they don't have the right mindset as it relates to not just being involved politically, voting politically, but building our own political machine. So we're going to have to deal with that. That mindset can be very dangerous because it could disrupt and or destroy what we're trying to do. Another threat to not being organized is people can come in, infiltrate, give bad messaging, give bad leadership, have us mobilizing around the wrong thing. When you're not organized from your own vantage point, from your own agenda, other people will come in and organize you for their vantage point, for their agenda. And of course, again, that mindset that our people don't have as it relates to building our own opens us up. The wrong mindset, lack of organization opens us up to being infiltrated. And that's one of the reasons why every last organization we have had to move ourselves forward in any capacity, all of them have been infiltrated. And of course, that's been a problem moving forward. So, how are we going to implement the SWOT analysis? We're going to do this thing on a very basic level moving forward. This is local, political, mobilization, and organization. And you can't get more local than your street. So we want to train, BG is Black Gold because the parent organization of everything that we do is Black Gold Nation. We want to train Black Gold, BG street professionals to understand the SWOT analysis on that street. Where are we strong on that street? What are the weaknesses on that street? What are the opportunities on that street? And what are the threats to our people on that street? We want to graduate or mature to Black Gold Precinct Lieutenants. The same thing in that precinct. Where are we strong? Where are we weak? What are the opportunities? And what are the threats? Moving up to zip code captains, again, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and then becoming a Black Gold ambassador, which is the largest voting block in a given city, a given municipality, which for every state in this country except for Louisiana, they are districts, and Louisiana has parishes. So we want to train, and this will be a progressive promoting, maturing process whereby everyone will start as a street professional and develop, mature, and graduate to becoming a Black Gold ambassador. Not that they would have to, but that's the idea that the more we know on the street level, the more we can add to, add to, add to. So when it comes to a Black Gold ambassador, and Black Gold ambassadors would be in training to run a city, starting, of course, here in the greater Houston area, and there are a lot of predominantly Black spaces here. But when you expand out to Texas as a state, there are several. And then when you span nationwide, of course, there are even more. So the Black Gold ambassadors produce a SWOT analysis, or should already have at that point, because they've not only come up through the ranks and been promoted to be an ambassador, but they have other people working with them, zip code captains, precinct lieutenants, and street professionals. So by that point, we have mobilized and organized ourselves to know as much as we possibly can as it relates to the spaces where our people are, so that we can implement power locally and then run these spaces like small countries. We want to understand how local politics works. We want to understand the importance of political mobilization and organization. We want to understand how to get our own people in office. And then by doing so, by doing the work, we create a blueprint for ourselves that we've never done before in this country on this level. And then we can franchise that model and do it in other spaces nationwide. We want to make sure, okay, so we want to make sure that our goal in 2027 is accomplished, which is to have at least 3 people running for city council here in Houston that win in the 3 predominantly Black districts that exist. PAID Texas, which is our political organization. PAID is an acronym. It stands for Political Advocates for Independent Democracy. PAID Texas is focused on building teams to pursue and lock down the non-traditional, inactive voter base. Anywhere you go in this country, whenever there's the election, I don't care what the election is about, what it's for, or what it is. You have 65, 70, 75, 80, 90+% of the people who can vote not voting. We want to go after those persons who can vote that don't vote, because they're not politically tied to anybody and they are open as it relates to listening and being a part of an independent political grassroots movement, which of course is what we have. We are targeting District B that has over 75,000 people in it. We're targeting District D that has over 100, and all of this, of course, is in the greater Houston area, which is where we're starting, that has over 100,000 people in it. And we're targeting District I that has over 75,000 people in it. These three districts, as of right now, are predominantly black. District 139, we were targeting. I'm not sure if we're going to target it again, because a few months ago we had a candidate that we were going to support, that eventually did not work out. But moving forward, District 139 could be a district that we target. In the greater Houston area, there are over 500,000 melanated African descendants that we want to try and do our very best to have a connection to, because having a connection to that many people gives us an opportunity to create things that we've never been able to create before. And of course, we're not expecting all of them to be a part of what we're doing, but if we can get a percentage, 25, 30, 35, 40% of them to be involved in some capacity, then that creates for us a groundswell of black activity again in areas that we've never been able to have before, which is the whole point of being organized. These people will do door-to-door canvassing, phone banking, text banking, the teams, of course, Zoom introduction meetings and live events to ensure that we are, and fundraising events to ensure that we are always connecting with the grassroots-based electorate so that we can continue to build relationships with them moving forward. Our focus is to build teams through our grassroots efforts to mobilize and organize. And we want to do that with the activity that's on the screen right now, plus other ongoing monthly events that deal with our youth, deal with entertainment, deal with education, so that we are always progressively moving in a fashion to make our people bigger, better, and stronger. As Dr. Smalls and Brother Barron said in the beginning, we live our communities, our neighborhoods. We are behind enemy lines. We exist in domestic colonies, in spaces that other people control, other people run, other people have agendas for, and we're just flapping in the wind, going in whatever direction that other people decide. It's time out for that. With Project 2025, it was already bad, but with Project 2025, it's only going to get worse, and it's going to get worse by design. When we had the recent um, um, food stamps cut, or food stamps not being funded for, I think it was 35, 40 days, I think. That was traumatic for a lot of people. It's going to get worse as they continue to do these kinds of things, because their goal is to restructure American society, and that restructuring will not be pro-black. It will not be beneficial to us. So it's past time for us to get organized. What we're saying is, if we are working to be more organized from that organization, we invest in ourselves, our community, our children. We build for our community, for our people, for our children, and whatever profits that come out of that investment in that building, be they economic, spiritual, cultural, or whatever, we reinvest those profits to make ourselves bigger, better, and stronger. Because all of this has to be about building power, because everything that we've gone through since we've been here, we've had to experience these things because we have not had the power to stop any of it.
I think black people and black Christian nationalism says we have to approach the whole problem in terms of power. Black people have to begin to build institutions. Every institution that exists belongs to white people, was built by white people, and serves the interests of white people. And for black organizational leaders to be sitting there talking as though they have power, as though they represent something, we want to represent everybody, we want to bring everybody together, we want to build a beautiful America. We don't want to build no kind of beautiful America. We want power for black people, and we want to fight for it. It's demands confrontation and the willingness to do everything necessary to get power. And we got to take it away from white people. White people are not going to give black people anything. Politically, economically, or any other way, black man is no longer necessary in America. And the white man is hell-bent on genocide. So we have to understand we've got to build institutional power to deal with the white man moving society to destroy.
On that note, that is it. That is what this is about. This is about building power. If we're not mobilized and organized to build power, someone else will have power, and we will continue to get what we've been getting. But it's only going to be worse as they restructure America to be the kind of country where the rich get richer and the poor are just there struggling to survive. If we don't want that to happen, then we need to do what we need to do to ensure and make sure that it doesn't happen. So get with the person who invited you to see this. If it was me, Brother Tamani, then let me know that you're done and we'll go from there. And if it wasn't me, then whomever invited you to watch this, get with them, let them know that you're done, and then they'll let you know what's next. Thank you very much. If you haven't seen the other three presentations before this one, please go watch them. They're all on the same website page. And if you haven't seen the one that comes after this, the Organization for Our Youth, then please go watch that one. It's very, very, very important that you understand where we're coming from, what our premise and position is, so that moving forward, if you decide to be a part, you have an understanding of why we maneuver the way that we do and what we're moving toward, why and how. So thank you very much for being here. I most certainly appreciate it. God bless, and hope to see you soon being a part of the movement that we are building for our people moving forward. Thank you very much. God bless. Have a good one.